Hello again. So yesterday, I got all those little barrel cactus and everything potted up, and today it's pretty warm already. There's a tiny little bit of a breeze, but I put a pop-up tent right here above me. So now I can just stand here in the shade and the breeze actually feels good. But it's still pretty hot. It says it's 79. It feels more like it's about 85 already. It's still early. It's not even noon yet. So what I want to do is I got this bowl for these whoa for these Superbum, and I thought I'd just put them all in here. And then I forgot these leaves that fell off. I left them in the full sun yesterday. I completely forgot about them, and there was like 5 of them. So I don't know. Whoops! I just dropped one. I think I'm just gonna toss them because they feel. I don't know. Maybe I'll save them. We'll see. But I do want to put some soil in here, and I am gonna save these. Look, see, I just knocked a bunch more leaves off of this one because I'm not being careful. Where's my trash bucket? Over here. So I'm gonna take some soil and get that in there. I still have these rocks. Oh, don't I have an empty one of these containers? Yeah, I can put these white rocks in there. And there's a ton of them. So these I dumped off of that planter because I wanted to save them. Those were still in good shape. So I'm going to put some fresh, there's no drainage in here. What do I do with my bag? So let's get some soil. It's a little bit damp, but not wet. And then let's take the biggest piece. Knock some of the, it's funny, you can still see the shape of the original little pot that this one plant came in. So I'm gonna move everything here. I'm just gonna tuck this down there. And then I can, yeah, this one you can still see the round little pot that was in. I'm gonna water this. I can water these all really good because I didn't cut any roots off of them. And then I'll find a spot in the shade somewhere so they can just hang out. And then maybe, most likely, we'll start getting some more rosettes growing in on these stems. There's 1, 2, 3 on this one, 4. There's nothing on here, but it may put one down there since I cut those off. So we'll just see what happens, because I don't see this plant anywhere up here. It's hard to find it. These ones I believe I found at Poot's nursery, and Poot's is an hour from here, so I don't get over there very often, and they don't even always have them. But when they do, I usually grab as many as I can. So that's all I'm going to do with that. I'm going to water that good, but I'm going to go put this over on my shelf in the back where it's in the shade. Actually, yeah. So what I need to do is clean some of this stuff out of here. Those are more Superbum leaves. Oh, those are the ones I just now knocked off. So this dirt really has a lot of roots and dead leaves, all that. But for the most part, it's okay. So, but I'm going to push it out of the way. Now I'm going to go I have a big terracotta pot that we're going to do. So I'm going to bring it over here. Okay. Can we see that? No. It's tall. Okay, so this is I've had this, oh, it was actually sending up pups from down here. It hasn't been getting watered near enough. That's why it looks the way it did. What did I just do? Move that over before I trip on it. I'm just going to cut all these. I don't know if I'm going to keep them. Because, I mean, I have some more of them out by the greenhouse in a pot that has been getting water regularly. And they're fat and green and, you know, all of that. So I do want to save some rocks. Now these rocks I can tell by looking at. I collected these off of the driveway. Most of these are, I just went out there and I just looked for all of the white rocks I could find. So we'll get most of these out of here. Okay, now I need to dig this out. And surprisingly, this had not grown down into through the pot. Oh yeah, it is really root bound. I need to get, oh yeah. Yeah, look at that. I'm just gonna go throw this whole thing away. Can you see that? This has been in here for a while. Yeah, I'm just gonna toss this whole thing. Ugh, that's not even worth trying to fix. Do I have anything on the bottom? No. Okay, so I need a little, oops, I just made a mess all over the ground. I need a little piece of shade screen to cover the bottom. And you're probably wondering what I'm doing with this pot, right? Because I don't think I said. I'm just going to stick some stuff in here as a placeholder for now, because I don't really have anything I need to put in this pot at the moment. But when I do, it'll be really easy to pull what's out of here, pull what's in here out. So let's get some dirt, fill this back up. There we go. Pack this down a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick all these little plants that I've been pulling out that have been sitting here for days and just stick them in here for now. I don't even need to say this. I have this whole pot of cotyledon over there. But I do want to save these little crested ghosties. I can't remember, did I spray these? Where is my oh, there it is. My little bottle of I've almost gone through this whole thing of alcohol on these few plants. That's how badly infested everything is. So actually, you know what? Let's cut the stem off up here. So get all that rot off of there. And I wish I could just lay it. You know what? I'm just going to lay it down this way. No, you know what? I'm going to get rid of that. I can't even get it straight in there. But what about this one? This one, that one, I think will root and grow, so we'll just leave that there. Do I want to say, I don't want to say these aloes. I don't know why I do that. I don't need them. Okay, what else? I had some other stuff I was going to put in there. What did I do with it? That can go in there. Is that all that's laying around? Oh, you know what? Let's put, because I'm going to put this over in the shade also. Let's put this little cactus. I'm going to spray it again. I still see white on it, but I know these mealybugs have got to be dead. I've sprayed it like 3 times because I sprayed it while it was still in the house in a pot right before I brought them out. So I'm going to stick it right in there. I don't know if this is going to survive. Actually, let's put it on the edge. I think it probably will die, but why not give it a chance? Let's see if it'll reroot. Okay, what else? I have this whole tray over here, which I need to water, of leaf pullings. Look at these. So I have this whole tray, and they're, you know, they're still pretty small. You can see they're starting to burn a little bit. I've got them in afternoon shade, and I did acclimate them slowly because I wanted just to start cutting them off and sticking them places just to let them grow. They've been in the house for a long time, so we'll have to deal with those. Well, let's come back over here. Where were you? I think you were right here. I'll zoom in a little. Actually, you're up here, and I think I tipped you down a little so you can see everything. Okay. Now, I'm going to move this pot. I'm just going to set it on the ground over here. And I'm going to go get the big one that I want to redo. Okay. Surprisingly, that was not that heavy because it's very dry. I haven't been watering it enough. But here is, I'll back up a little bit. You can't really see what's back in there, huh? Let me get a quick drink. Oh, it's hot out here. So this stuff is infested with mealybugs. I don't know if you can see all this on here, but I'm going to pull this whole thing out. Ooh. But first, I'm going to cut these off. This one's completely rotted down below, but yeah, I'm going to trip over this. Let me move this over here. So this, you can see all the roots growing off of that. It's been trying to reroot above the rotted area because it wasn't getting any nutrition or any moisture. So let's get rid of this whole piece. Yeah, this is just dry as a bone. Which this time of year, you know, not always a bad thing. This whole thing can go. Touch the leaves and they just fall off because they're infested. My little trash bucket's already full because I dropped that whole chunk of aloe root in there. That's all roots. So what I want to do is try and keep from disturbing this euphorbia too much. What is this? This looks like kalanchoe of some sort. It's all bloomed out. Let's get rid of that because that's not worth saving. What is that? Or is it cotyledon? I have to look at it a little more carefully. Okay. The weeds out of here. Yeah, I can't believe neither one of these 2 pots, which have not been moved in months, actually grew through into the ground. Okay, so all that's out of here. So this now is Aeonian kiwi, which I'm gonna just take and reset somewhere. Probably not in here. So these will, you know, like the rest of the Aeoniums, these will be wanting to go dormant. And if you keep them in a shady spot that's cool, they don't close up as much as if you just, you know, leave them in the full sun. Because I have some that are in a shady area where they get shade pretty early. And, you know, they pretty much look good long after everything else has gone dormant. Can I get this out of here? What I need to do is just kind of get some sort of a drench and just flood this whole pot, because when you get mealy bugs this bad, they get down into the soil too. And sometimes you pull a plant out and you'll find them down in the roots. I'm not too concerned about that. Okay, now this, let's go up a little. So this is, where's the top? Way up there. So all the tops look pretty good, except for this one. You see this one brown one there. That one's coming off. I'm going to cut that right at the base. But I'm going to put my glove on because these can be pokey. As they get older, they're not so bad when they're young. They're still a little soft, but they do get pokey as they're older. Okay, I want to cut it down here so I can see nothing but sap at the top. But you see that white sap coming out of there? See that? Yeah. That's what you don't want to get on your skin. So that whole piece was completely dead, except around one little bit around that, but the center part was dead. Now the rest of this looks like it's still okay. It's scarred and it's looking rough, but I believe it's all alive. You know, it's all nice and green. I'm going to leave it and I'm going to start hitting this with some water. But what do I want to put in there? I need something in front of that, right? Or I could, okay, so you see how it looks like that? I could put I could throw some top dressing in there, and then I could put a couple of big rocks in front and just leave it like that. And that way I can water it more without having to worry about any cuttings being in there or something that's not going to like as much water. Why don't we do that? Why don't I go and get some top dressing, and then I'm going to I need to find a spot kind of in the shade or where it gets shade earlier. That way it will be a little bit protected and maybe get a little bit happier. I'll be right back. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave it like that. Now the top dressing, the Sonoma Gold is about 2 inches thick. So that's really thick. And then I just threw some lava rock on it for a little color, and I'm going to leave it that way. And now my plan is, once it feels like it's getting healthy again and I know it's growing and it's, you know, it's doing well, maybe I will use it as a thriller in one of the bigger pots when I redo them, and then plant around it again. But for now, I think I'm just going to leave it like that. That way I can put as much water on it as I think it wants. And I'm going to go put it on the front patio over near my red dragon tree, because it's almost in the shade now where I'm going to put it. So it'll be mostly shade. Where it was over here, it was right over there. It didn't get in the shade for a few more hours. What am I looking at? Oh, this is interesting. Here, let's go look at this. Something just caught my eye. Let's walk over here. Oh, it's warm today. Warm, warm, warm. Oh, look at my Tradescantia's got little flowers. Aren't those cute? Where'd that one go? Right there. Yeah, on the tips of each one. And I noticed in the variegated, I'm so easily distracted. In the variegated one down here, it gets, these also flower, but these ones, where are we? Yeah, those little variegated ones, those get, I believe, a white flower, where the dark purple one gets a pink or purple flower. My monkey tail cactus has got a couple blooms on it. Look at that. Oh, it's got a little touch of purple. God, how pretty are those? Look at that. I didn't even notice it had buds on it. Oh, there's another one, a bud. Trying to peek out. I need to kind of take a soft brush and brush all the spider webs off. Look, there's a couple more buds there. Well, that's exciting. I didn't even know it had buds on it. Awesome. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to move, where are we? I'm going to move that a little bit out of the way, and I'm going to put that euphorbia right there, because it'll be in the sun pretty early. And I think it'll be okay over here. This is what it looks like most of the time. Everything's got shade screens over them just to protect from that hot sun. And I know it looks, here's my 2-barrel cactus. It doesn't look good, but you know what? That's all right. You know, it's not permanent, but it will protect my plants. So in the long run, they'll look better. But yeah, okay, so I'm gonna go get that. Let's go back over here. Pretty flowers. They're all getting ready to start blooming again. Kind of went through the first flush of blooms, and now I see buds coming in for more. Okay, so I'll move that, and then we'll be back. Okay, so I found a little pot here with nothing in it for a change, not even a dead plant, surprisingly, because there's usually always a dead plant. You know what I forgot though is to cut a piece of shade cloth, piece of screen here for the drainage hole. Make sure that stays covered. There we go. And then this, all I'm going to do in here is I'm going to put those I'm going to put these kiwi cuttings in here. What do I do with them? Oh, there they are. So I need my little scissors, my littler scissors. Here we go. So all of these, I'm just going to cut them, and they're not going to have a bug chase me. Is that a bee? What is that? Yellow jacket? I'm just going to cut all of these a little bit longer and just kind of stick them in here. I do need to spray them. I can come out and spray them later, but for now I just want to get them off of their, you know what, I might leave all these just on the stem. One big stem, because I can always cut them and reset them later. But yeah, these are just, there's mealy bugs everywhere. Everywhere. And then I can just stick that one right in there. This one over on the side. I should be able to get them all in here. Keep hearing noises behind me. The kiwi is one of my favorite aeoniums. They're so pretty and so bright. And when it's their season, they're just absolutely gorgeous. But if you find the right spot for them and they're happy, man, they just put on a show. But look at the difference. Can you see the difference in this, how green this one is compared to how yellow that one is? So, and it just depends on how much sunlight they get. And the kiwi, I believe, is just a hybrid. I think it's just Aeonium haworthia, and I think the kiwi is just the variegated form. So they're, you know, that's all it is. And these are real common. You can pretty much find them at any nursery. And a lot of times I see them in the tiny little pots. You'll see like you know, one little cutting, you know, one little rosette in a pot all by itself. And that's how they sell them mostly. Just little pieces. Can't believe these are still hanging on. So many mealies. Just disgusting. But I will spray this whole thing. I just need to refill my alcohol bottle because it's pretty much empty. Okay. The last one. Where? Oh, stick you right down in here. So they're all down in the soil. Oops, there's another one. Whew, they're just everywhere. Let's break that one off. Break that off. Take off that dead leaf. Let's leave this one longer. All right, so what I'm going to do is take my little bouquet and I'm just going to go stick them over in the Garden of Death, find a shady spot for them, and then later this evening I'll come out and I'll spray them good with alcohol. But I won't water these for a while because there's no roots on them. Okay, what am I going to do now? So now I have to remember to go over there and check on those plants because I haven't had any plants over there in probably well over a month. And otherwise I'll forget all about them. So those ones, those kiwis won't grow. You know, they'll be going naturally into dormancy anyway, so they can just sit over there. And these are Echeveria imbricata. So this was a batch I got at Katie's last year, and these have been over in the sun, and you can see they are just infested with mealybugs. All that white fuzzy stuff, that's what that is. And I would forget to water them over there, so they were just getting fried. But these things are so tough. So if I pull these all out of here like this, and I cut the stems, get all these dead leaves off of here, spray them good with alcohol, and then stick them down in the dirt, they're gonna take off and they'll just start growing again. This is just so much mealybugs in here. Look at this. It's like a whole colony. Can you see that? I don't know if that comes in. It looks the way it looks to me, but we'll just squish them. Squish them all. Yuck. There's a fly in my face. Go away. Yeah, these will just take off. I'll treat these. I've got a bunch of them because I got a whole bunch more last time I was at Katie's. They're just taking over one section in her yard. She's probably got by like a, I don't know, maybe like a 6 by 8 foot section that's just covered with this imbricata. This one had a little one coming off the side. All right, the rest of this, I'm just gonna throw all this away, dirt and all, because it's full of mealybugs. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, got that dumped. And then this is the pot. And I don't know if you can see all the holes in there, but Dave drilled this out for me. It was just like a metal, I don't know if it was an old cooking pot or what, but it makes a great planter. So I think I'll just leave that. Oh, I kind of wanted to try and save whatever these are too. Not that piece. That piece is just disgusting. This is gone. Okay, I'm gonna go dump my bucket and I'll be right back again. Okay, I think that's all I'm gonna do for now because it's just hot. It's really hot out here. But come over here. And here's what I'm gonna do later. So those 2 terracotta pots that I just did were right here. And I don't think I'm gonna put anything else back here. But later, I'm gonna come out when this is in the shade and I'm gonna trim that portulacaria back. And yeah, just I'm gonna cut and reset some of these things, I think. and then maybe add some more stuff into it and then give it a good soaking. Actually, I should soak it first before I put any cuttings into it. I got shade cloth over that. That just has a bunch of, I just put a bunch of cuttings in here. I don't know how long ago, but everything's been so dry and I hadn't been watering it or covering it. So I need to start doing that, fluff that back up, and that'll look really nice. But yeah, look at everything that is just getting fried. But it'll be in the shade pretty soon, so it'll be okay. But I need to trim all this dead bloom stalks off. They're spent. Get all these weeds pulled out of here. And then I'm going to take those 2 pots and I'm going to get rid of that eaves needle because I don't like it, and that'll give me a nice, beautiful pot to put something else in. And I might leave it there, but it needs something else. And then I'm going to take that one out of there. That plastic pot next to that aloe has a dead plant in it. That was a dead yucca, I believe, or was it an aloe? I don't remember. So I got a lot of work to do and lots of projects. And but for now, I'll just leave that sitting there. So I'm just going to put that somewhere and just let those ride for a while, unless I need that pot. And oops, I missed a little kiwi. A little bitty one. It just fell off its stem. Okay, so we'll be back later. A lot of traffic. Okay, so it's been a few days. Cheers, having my coffee. It's kind of early still. It's not quite 9 o'clock, so I still have a little shade here. It got really hot. I mean, really hot. So I kind of put off repotting this. This thing is dry as a bone. I haven't really been watering it. Actually, I don't think I've watered it. No, I've watered it a couple times. That's right. When it was over there, I did hit it. But it's been really warm. So I'm going to try and get it out of here. And what I think I want to do is try and cut the pot away from it, if I can. I think that'll be a little easier on the plant. But I do want to change out the soil because it feels like it's just in whatever dirt they have in their yard, whoever had this. I really wish I knew who it was that just keeps leaving these, because clearly they're getting rid of a lot of stuff. Katie has said, I think, twice, 2 or maybe 3 times, they just leave all these plants. Some are potted up, some are pulled out bare root, and they're just leaving them on the driveway, at the end of the driveway at her barn where her horse is. And I don't know, it'd be kind of fun to just go to their yard and say, what else you want to get rid of? Because they've had some cool stuff. This is my favorite. I have to assume it's the same people leaving it. Okay, so yeah, this is just, I don't know if you can see in here, but this is just the dirt, it looks like, from their yard. I don't see any rock or, so it'll be a lot happier, I think, to go in some draining soil. But I just want to loosen it up around the outside first. And it's kind of hard to get it down in there. I think it's been in here for a long time. And these aren't exactly made for cutting. But that's what I had right here. So I'm trying not to stab my knuckles. These are sharp. They're not too bad. Some plants are worse, but they are kind of sharp. I wish I could just tear this. There we go. There we go. Yeah, so this is pretty root bound. Get out of there. Let go. Let go. I don't want to stab myself in the face. I got one root holding on. There we go. Okay. Ugh, that is solid. So what's the best way to do this? Get all this out of here. The best way is probably just to get it wet, but I'm just going to try and break some of this dirt off of here without stabbing myself in the face. Can you see still? Tippy down a little. Yeah, I'm just gonna, actually these are probably a little stronger. I'm just gonna try and knock some of this dry, it's like clay. And then this will probably loosen up the roots a little bit too. Yeah, this is, I doubt the water's even getting down into there to those poor little roots. You know what, I kind of would like to separate. This is two separate plants. I wonder if I should just throw it out on the lawn and just hit it with the hose. If that might be, yeah, it's really root bound down in here. It's got a lot of unhealthy roots and a lot of healthy roots, but hard as a rock. You know what, I'm going to take it over on the ground and hit it with some water and see if the soil doesn't just kind of turn to mush and come off. I might completely bare root these and see what happens. This is not the good time of year to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'll be back. I'm going to set it here and let's see if this works. So that was pretty abusive. I'm going to go rinse this one off really quick. Okay, so here's this one. If it survives this, and look at, it's got a nice long taproot on here and some other little roots. This is the little side one, the pup. If it survives this, I think it'll do a lot better in the future. It's probably, I don't know. I don't know how palms are being completely bare rooted like that, but it just made it, it's gonna make it a lot easier to plant it. And it's got a lot of nice healthy roots. I kind of want to get them to come down. But at least now, this one will fit in here, because now that I see, you know, all that dirt is out of here. A lot of it is still, I mean, this is just hard, hard clay. It's just, I'm sure it just came out of someone's yard. They just, because this isn't anything you would buy on purpose. But we'll put it in some nice cactus soil, and I'm sure if it survives, it's going to be a lot happier. And I'd like to get these roots farther down without doing too much damage to them. I'm trying to figure out which roots are still good and which ones are just broken off. But it's been in that pot for so long it doesn't want to uncurl. So this is just sludge. You get this mud wet. That's what I was kind of hoping for. If I started getting it wet, if it would just come apart. And it did. As you saw, it just washed. But this root comes down and goes across. So let's see if I can get it a little bit deeper. I'd like to get these roots to go down, but I don't think that's going to be an option, and it's not going to want to stay in the center here. This is where I want you. I know as soon as I let go, it's going to come bouncing back this way, because I can feel how hard it's pushing here. But let's get some soil all around it. Cover up all these few roots that are still sticking up. Try and get the soil to kind of fill in the gaps, which I'm sure there are going to be gaps down in there. So this is probably going to settle quite a bit. And I think I'll wait to put some top dressing on it. If I even do put top dressing on it, because I know this is going to drop down, and I don't want this part down below. I want to keep it up where it belongs. So I'm going to put this, I'm going to find somewhere in the shade to put this, because although it's only supposed to be 94 today, it is going to be 103 in a couple days for 2 or 3 days in a row. And that's going to be a little bit probably shocked, I'm sure. But I don't know, hopefully it will survive this abuse. God, it's just like fried. And I need to find a little pot to put this in. I want one that's somewhat deep so I don't have to damage that little root. So I'm gonna go look around. I'll be right back. Okay, I did find a pot. It's not ideal, but it does have a dead plant in it. I wanted something deeper, but unfortunately, unless I go buy one, I don't think I have any more suitable. So this was a desert rose adenium that I should have brought in over the winter, which I did last year, and somehow I missed bringing it in. So let me get all the weeds out of here. I'm gonna just dump this top soil into here that has all the weed roots in it. Otherwise, they're just gonna come back as soon as I water. And get most of it out of there. God, these roots on some of this stuff just are crazy. Okay, more of the plant. And I always think, you know, these weeds were dead. I don't have to worry about it. But it seems like as soon as you get it wet, these weeds just take over again. They just come right back to life. So what I want to do is get all of that out of there. Okay. Because I want to put the plant in, hold it, and then put the soil all around it so that I don't have to bend the root too much. Now this is one of the pots that has a drainage hole on the side, and I don't even see it. So where does this not even have a, oh, there it is. No, it's in the bottom, but it's clogged. This is weird. So this is the first one I have that's like this. The drainage hole is here, but yet it's got this tray that doesn't have anywhere for the water to get out that I can see. Let me see. Maybe it's just a little down deeper. I do not see any place for that water. Is this? There's no hole in this. That's weird. Yeah, so the water, it looks like, will drain out of here. Is it? This is one piece, right? It's not just sitting on a tray, stuck. Okay, this is kind of stupid. I'm not going to use that pot because I really need something that's going to drain well. I'm going to go look again. I'll be back. Okay, well, I couldn't find anything suitable. But you know what? I'm going to put it in here for now as a placeholder. And then I do need to go into town because I'm going to be planting a tree up in a wine barrel, and so I need to go get soil. So this had a chamomile plant in it. Chamomile. You know, it went through all its phases. I never do anything with the chamomile, but it's really pretty when it blooms. Oh, sorry dogs, did I just get dirt all over you? So I just let it run its course, and then when it's dry and done, I just pull it out. I need to learn how to make tea, because I like tea. But the soil in here is good. It's not a cactus soil, but I can feel it's got quite a bit of pumice or perlite in there. And it's dry as a bone because since the plant died, I haven't watered it. But this pot is deep enough. And then I got to run into town. I'll probably go this afternoon or tomorrow. But yeah, this'll work until I go. And then I'm going to buy a terracotta pot for it. And I will buy probably a somewhat skinny one, probably about the same size over here, but maybe even a little taller or thinner one. And that way I can just leave it in there for a long time. This is just packed down here from sitting. I don't feel a lot of loose root or anything. There's no roots from the plant. I mean, there's a few, but they're like tiny. So I want to get this all the way to the bottom, or mostly to the bottom. Oh, there's all kinds of little creatures living on the bottom of this pot. There we go. So I want it up about like that. And then as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to take these both over there and just dump a bunch of water in them. I'm just going to soak them. And that's going to take a while because the soil in both of these pots is just bone dry. So it takes a long time for the material to really absorb the water. Or maybe I'll find a cute pot, well, no, because I don't like spending the money. I can't believe the cost on some of the ceramic and clay pots that you see. And I'm not talking about the fancy hand-painted Talavera kind of, I'm just talking about just your run-of-the-mill, normal, regular clay pots that are like factory made. They're all exactly identical. So, and they're just like $30, $40 for a somewhat small one. What I need to do is get a kiln and learn how to make them myself. And then sell a bunch of them to pay for it. Okay. I want this sticking up. I don't want to bury that. Okay, so I think that's good for now. And now this way they can sit in there until I figure something out. And I'll water them good, and they'll be happier. They're out of this hard clay. So I'm going to go set these back over. Where am I going to? I need a shady spot. Where am I going to put them where they're going to get early shade? I guess I'll water them good, and then I'll put them over on the front porch for a couple weeks. And then I'll find a spot. I think eventually I'm going to stick them back where they were, over like right behind that little fan palm, because in the afternoon it gets shade underneath it on that side, and that would be a good spot for them. And they'll get a little spritz in the morning with the hose, which doesn't seem to bother that big palm because You know, that's the one that just grew itself there. I didn't plant it. So let me go put these over here and get some water on them. Okay, so I'm just going to set them here. Turn on the water and just try to gently get that water to absorb down in there. And I know some places, you know, palms are different, I would imagine. But some places where I read where sago palms, they're like, yeah, you don't need to water them. They don't like a lot of water, whatever. Mine here, if I don't water them really regularly, they dry out, they burn. They are not happy. So I want to really get this to soak all the way down in there. I'm surprised it's not just pooling and running off the top. It's actually getting down. It's draining down pretty quickly. Yeah. And the roots did get a nice wet bath. I could have soaked them, just left them in a bucket of water and really soaked them for a couple hours, let them absorb some water, but I don't know, you know, if I've scratched them all up, if they're going to be you know, damaged, and I don't want them to rot. And I'll probably hit them again with water. I was going to water everything good on Tuesday. It's going to be a little bit cooler. So we'll see how that goes. I still haven't figured out exactly what these are. Somebody said that it's possibly a ponytail palm, but the ponytail palm, which I believe is Burkharnia recurvata, it has long leaves, where this has a long stem and then the leaves come off the sides of it instead of long like, you know, a ponytail, like hair coming straight back from the center. So that's not a ponytail palm. I looked up a couple. I thought maybe it was a pygmy palm, but it has really stiff leaves. And all the pictures of the pygmy palms that I saw, it looked like they were kind of hanging down. They looked softer. So, I mean, there's so many kinds of palms. It's hard to, you know, it's hard to figure it out. So I think I'm gonna leave it at that for now. I'm sure it didn't go down too deep, the water, but it'll help to soften that soil up. And then I can water it more and it'll actually take the water. But unlike that hard clay, it won't take nearly as much to water them. So I'm gonna go put them on the porch. Okay, so look at that. I just noticed as I walked by, something's eating my flower. Look at that. Look at all those holes, little devils. And this one's blooming. And I think the middle, this one, yeah, this one's gonna bloom too on the coleus. How funny. Okay, so I'm gonna leave them here. As you can see, the water, they were draining really good through the bottom. So that water did go all the way through, and that's good. That's what you want. And then, whew, out of breath. I've been running back and forth in between. You don't see when I stop it. Sometimes it's 10 minutes before I come back. Yeah, you want to really drain these succulents and cactus and things like that. Let the water run through the pot, and then you let them dry out. So I was going to redo this one in the same video, but I think I'm going to wait that one because it's going to be really hot. So I'm going to wait until Tuesday. Today is Sunday. I'm going to wait till Tuesday. It's only supposed to be 88. And then when I chop it and reset it, I'll cover it with a piece of shade cloth like this, and hopefully it'll do okay. And I think it's time to rip out all these daisy looking things, whatever they are, because it looks like they're done. I see a couple of blooms starting. I see a white one right there and a little yellow one somewhere in there. Yeah, I think they're ready to come out. Maybe I'll find something that really can take summer heat. So yeah, I think I'll just leave that here and be done. And then I'll move these up into the porch later. I'm just going to put them there, back in here somewhere, because it gets shade real early and it does get a little morning sun, but they won't get that hot sun. And let them acclimate, recover from the trauma I just did to them. But hopefully they will take off and they'll be happier. So for now, oh, and look at what the sun's doing. The sun hits this side. Look at that. It just burns the leaves on this side. And this is a full sun plant. And it said it was hardy to zone 9. But this side, which is more in the shade, looks a lot better because the sun goes, across that way. But nothing I can do about it. But this one doesn't seem to be burning. A little bit, but not nearly as much. So I don't know. I got to move these. I got to get this area done. I've been spraying Roundup like crazy on the boxwoods, and they're still coming back. So I need to get some of that stump killer stuff that you put on them. That will kill these completely. So yeah, that's it for today. And I will be back on Tuesday and get that other stuff done. But for now, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. That really helps me. And we will see you next time.